Hello and welcome. Jeff Manchester here. I got my wine. Today I want to talk about something kind of important, and that's money. I had a guy ask me over email, which is on the internet. He wanted to know how much he should be charging for his services. He's a composer. He was a plumber, and that's what I want to talk about, plumbing. No, he's a composer, and he wanted to know, how much should I charge? Should I charge by the hour? Should I charge by the whatever? So as I'm typing in this 8-paragraph long email, I'm like, maybe I should do a video on this. So anyway, I'm sure he was creeped out by just how much time it looked like I had. But I love when people write me and I read all the comments. So I love getting back to people as an aside. So anyway, this is what this video is today. This video is about how to price yourself and protect yourself. Let's start off. First things first. Number one, you have someone that wants to pay you for music. That's really cool. That's not a small thing. It's no one pays for music anymore, so you should be really proud of yourself. I'm serious. It's no small accomplishment. It's a big accomplishment. Be proud of yourself. Twin Peaks style, go out and get a little gift, every day. Not every day, but on the day that you get a job or whatever. You should be proud of yourself. Seriously. You're talented. Someone wants to give you some money for music, a thing that you do that is pretty easy to you, but easy work. And be happy about that. Number two, super important. Find a place where you can negotiate money that is conducive to such a negotiation and the seriousness of that negotiation. What I mean by this is pick a place that you're comfortable in. Go to a coffee shop if you can. I'd say stay away from loud places or whatever. If you can have the meeting at your place where you feel comfortable and confident, if you're not a very confident person, if you're introverted or whatever, be somewhere that makes you feel as strong and as powerful and as comfortable that you can feel, because you're going to have to be selling yourself. In a way, you're kind of sending someone on your behalf that is way cooler and smarter and more confident than you are for 30 minutes, however long the meeting is. So you want to make sure that you're doing it in a place that makes you feel all those things. I would say if you can, do it in a physical space. If you can't, then obviously Skype, FaceTime, whatever. But there's a lot of stuff that gets lost in those, online meetings. Like body language, and also if you've got a power pose, to sit with or whatever, that doesn't always come across in a FaceTime video. You want to be able to sort of be the best version of yourself, and I think you can really do that when you're in a nice, comfortable space. That's number one. Number two, they're going to ask you right off the bat, what is your rate? In fact, if they haven't asked you that already in the email, they're going to ask you at the meeting. What you should answer with, instead of a number, is what is your budget? Okay? What is your budget? 4 words. Super important. When you say what is your budget, it puts the ball back in their court, and they have to be honest with you to an extent about how much money they have, and that'll help you price yourself accordingly. If they say what is your rate and you dish out a number, they're already thinking, well, this person's too expensive, or, oh, great, this person's really cheap. We have way more money than this, and they haven't asked what the budget is, and now we can say, awesome, great, well, it's going to be about 4 minutes long, So you want to put the ball back in their court. You'll get one of 3 answers. You'll get, we don't know what the budget is. It's kind of murky. We're still fundraising, which is usually true. A lot of people, I feel like they know their budgets, but sometimes they're just like, oh, we don't want to tell you yet, but it's coming together. You'll get the second one, which is a modifier or an adjective of some kind. They'll go, well, we have a big budget, or we have a small budget, or we have a micro budget. I don't know why I'm laughing. Some people can't help it. They have micro budgets. Sorry, I'm a child. And that's okay. People with micro budgets, it's okay. It's okay if they have a micro budget. If they have a big budget, that's cool too. So they'll do that. Or number 3, they'll say, they'll give a number. They'll say, we have $800. We have $100 to play around. We have $150. We have $2,000. We have $6,000 for post. Either way, those answers, by putting them sort of on their toes with those 4 words, what's your budget, you're going to be able to calculate in your head just how much you're going to price yourself so that you still get the job. Last thing you want to do is pull out a number and then they pull out their micro budget, and you can't compete with that. So that's really important. So that question's super important. So number 3, you want to establish whether you're going to be working on a fixed rate, like a lump sum, or an hourly rate. Meaning you work, let's say, they tell you we need 6 minutes of music, and then you say, well, it might take me, I'll see how long it takes me, but I charge $25 per minute of music, and it takes me an hour to make a minute of music, but we'll see as we go, and then I'll bill you at the end. People never want to do that. They always want to give you a fixed price, okay? They want to give you a lump sum. And the reason they want to do that, and you should always try and push for an hourly rate, but if you're really in a position where this is a first-time job for you and you don't have a big name for yourself and all the rest of it, lump sum, it's okay. They will still want to give you money. You're still going to get paid. But the reason I say try and go for an hourly rate is because a very smart relative of mine who actually owned a big engineering company that would build the facilities in which companies like Rolls-Royce would test their airplane engines and all this stuff. Anyway, he negotiated huge contracts, okay? He said to me that the minute you establish a contract with someone, you sign on the dotted line and now you're working together, they will work as hard as they can to put you out of business. And what I mean by that is like, because I was kind of scratching my head, like, what does that mean? What he means is they will try to get the most out of you for the least amount of money. So if you go for a lump sum, a fixed rate, and you say, well, I think it's going to take me 10 hours and I charge X per hour, so I'll give you, we'll make it $500 and that includes all the edits and all the this and all the that. Companies, clients are just designed to suck as much out of you as possible. They're not all bad, obviously. Like I've worked with some small players and some big players that like I've even talked about on my channel. Really nice people, but there have been people in my past and even sometimes in my near present who are trying to get as much from me as possible while not paying me anything more than what we agreed to at the beginning, even though I've done double, triple, quadruple the work, right? They go, oh, could you send us one more revision? Or, we passed it by the producer and they say now that they don't want that cue anymore. And, I kind of agree with them because we have the trailer deadline coming up and, so they will try to extract as much. And this, if you can't negotiate not an hourly, but if you can't negotiate a time-based rate for yourself where you're going, well, it's been 2 weeks, I've done all this work for you. I've got a little app that counts how long I worked. I did 10 hours. I know you thought it might be 2, but I've literally done this much work. If you can't do that, then you have to find a way to stick up for yourself when you're on a fixed rate, when they're sending you more and more notes, more edits, and the project and the scope of the project just widens, okay? And suddenly you're going, this is not what I signed up for, and this is not worth $200, $400, $1,000, $1,200. It's not worth it at all. And it's bad for you because you lose interest with the project and the quality of the work might suffer and you're only as good as your last project. So if you are totally disillusioned and depressed with the client and the project and deliver a really crummy cue or set of cues, then, everyone sucks. They suck because now they have crappy music and you suck because they're going to be like, yeah, we didn't like the guy. So it's really important to stand up for yourself because clients are inherently structured to take as much from you as they can for as little money. So just know that going in, but also be proud of yourself as someone who wants to pay you. I know it might sound a bit contradictory, but yeah. Lastly, how much do you decide you're worth? The more prestige you have, the more music you've made, the more clients you've worked for, the bigger the projects. Let's say you did a documentary and it was a nothing burger documentary and it doesn't matter. But then that documentary that you got paid $100 for, or maybe you just donated some music, it won in a festival. It won at like some festival in the States, which I'm saying the States because I'm in Canada. Then the next job that comes along, you say, well, listen, I got to change my hourly rate or I got to change my fixed price because now I'm a composer I'm an award-winning composer because my documentary got into a festival in the States and it won for best documentary. So I have to change my prices accordingly. It changes, and it should. And you should never be afraid to walk away from a project because they can't afford you. You're standing up for yourself. And I know it sucks because people have bills to pay and you probably have 2 other jobs that you hate and you can't wait to be paid to make some music. But you're sending a message when you're sticking up for yourself like that. When you're saying, sorry if you can't afford me, I thought we could come to some sort of agreement. I think my work is really valued at this price and you can't afford that. We can maybe try to work together. And if you can't work together, or if they're inflexible and they're like, we're not paying you any more than $600, and you're like, well, my rate is $800, sorry. you saying sorry, believe it or not, they might come back. They might come back if they decide that, wow, this guy really isn't going down to our level. Let's cough up an extra $200 and make sure that he's paid because he really believes in his work. I'm serious. There's something about the psychology of just walking away. It's like two people at a bar. You know what I mean? If you get rejected by the other person, it sometimes just makes you want them more. So just think about that. But the bottom line is, make moves at this stage in your career, or if you're a veteran sort or whatever, make moves and try to make sure that you can take the hits. If someone, rips you off or whatever, make sure that you're taking the hits, because you can learn from hits, but don't get hurt. Don't get like crushed on the ground. It's a brutal experience. You get betrayed by a friend, or they steal all your music, and then you have no emails to back up that you even had a relationship with these people, so you can't really fight. Don't get hurt. But always protect yourself so that you are building your brand, adding prestige to what you do, and sticking up for yourself. And you develop a reputation as someone who will not, just take anything to get ahead. And that's really important too. Make sure that you're not working for free all the time. And I know that's tricky, and I know I did a video on should you work for free, and I really think that you should at the beginning. And even sometimes depending on the client, if they don't have any money, but like Nicholas Refn Winding or whatever the hell his name is wants to get your music in a movie, and usually Cliff Martinez scores those, and you're like, you can take, obviously work for free. But the last thing you want to do is develop a reputation for as being the guy that works for free. Because when you're the guy that works for free, that's all you ever are. That's it. People just know you as, yeah, that's the guy that'll take any job. That's the guy that's desperate. Don't be that guy. So hopefully those tips help you price yourself and negotiate a little better. And hopefully I didn't end up like putting you into more doubt and all the rest of it. If you're getting paid for your music as a composer to write cues to do what you love, that's a big friggin' deal. So anyway, write me a comment, write me an email, vodcastpodcaster@gmail.com. Write to me. I love answering this stuff, and hopefully you walk away from this video feeling a bit more confident about your work and how to price it, and more importantly, how to communicate your value to a client. All right? Like, subscribe, write a comment, share, blah, blah, blah. See you later.